Hello, my name's Ashley Leithman. I chose Emerald inside the amazing success of today's most popular chef. It's a biography written by a ghostwriter. Her name is Marcia Layton Turner. So basically, the book starts out just talking about Emerald's early life. He was born on October 15th, 1959, in Massachusetts. His dad is French Canadian and his mom is from Portugal. He actually got his first job when he was 12 years old. He was a dishwasher, and in just a couple of months, he was working full-time night shift. So he grew up pretty normal, had a normal upbringing. He actually was really musically talented and got a full ride scholarship for college to a music school, but he didn't want to do that because his passion was cooking. So he wound up going to Johnson & Wales because he wanted to become a chef, where he graduated from there. He said in the book that some of the people who influenced him were really big chefs like Wolfgang Puck. He wound up working at a couple of different restaurants, but obviously probably the most famous era for him is when he was in New Orleans. He took a job with Commander's Palace as the executive chef there in 1982. He said that it was a 4-month-long interview process because the owner just didn't know if they really wanted to hire him. He got the job there as the executive chef. He worked there for 7.5 years until 1989, and he decided to open up his own restaurant, do his own thing. Ella Brennan, she helped him kind of develop his own restaurant, which is obviously very famous now. It's called Emerald's. It's in New Orleans. He wanted to open it in the Warehouse District, which at the time was really run down. A lot of homeless people. So after he opened the restaurant, it kind of cleaned up the area. And he actually purchased the restaurant 100% debt-free. He put all of his money into the project. And then he opened the restaurant, which is obviously very successful now. In its first year in 1990, it was voted best restaurant by Esquire magazine. So the restaurant did very successful in New Orleans. He really brought that like Cajun Creole type of cooking to New Orleans, which is really a popular cuisine down there. Then he decided to open up a second restaurant in New Orleans called NOLA. It stands for New Orleans, Louisiana. It's actually a mile within the other restaurant that he was located in, the other Emeralds. So he opened that restaurant up, and he also owns a third restaurant in New Orleans, which he actually took over, called Delmonico's, which is a very successful restaurant as well. Very good food. The book kind of talks about different things that he did, like how he's a big entrepreneur, which he really learned from his dad. His dad owns his own company as well, so he was able to take a lot of the things that his dad said and use that for his own business. He obviously, probably most people know him from television. He actually did 3 different shows. The first 2, one was called How to Boil Water, and then one was called The Essence of Emerald. The third one was probably the most popular, which is Emerald Live. So the first show was very bad, got canceled. The second show did better because they allowed him to kind of do his own thing, bring in his own recipes, kind of take the show the way he wanted to in the direction he'd like to. So Emerald's Live was on television for quite a while, and he got really famous and wealthy off of that whole thing. Really made his restaurants very popular. So he did the Emerald's Live, and he was able to have about 200 people in the audience, picked his own recipes. Something that I thought was really cool that he talked about in the book is that New Orleans Cajun food tends to be a little bit heavy and very unhealthy. He tried to bring healthy into that type of cuisine. The book says that because of, he obviously is very busy and throws himself into his work, that he has been married 3 times, so he has 4 different kids, 3 different wives. So, but he's just a very busy chef and really didn't have time for family. He also attempted to be in a sitcom. The NBC producers approached him about doing a sitcom, and instead of the book describes it as it was his tipping point where he should have kind of just stopped, but he decided to continue that. So he was doing an acting thing for a little bit of time, and it wound up being terrible. He talks about just Julia Childs, that really, if it wasn't for her, that really none of this would actually be possible, just because she's kind of like the first person to ever have done something like this, like a television show, which is, like I said before, where he got really popular. It talks a lot about just like running your own business, being an entrepreneur, working really hard, having a lot of discipline. And because he did all of those things, it really worked for him, and he was able to create a really successful career. I don't think he's as relevant as he was in the 90s, but he's still a really, big name chef that people know. He obviously owns like a restaurant here in Vegas. He opened some restaurants in New York, which all have done really well. The book is really like a business book as well. It just kind of teaches you about running your own business and having discipline and, kind of making mistakes, but that you always learn from them type of thing. I think it was a good book. I know a lot about him from just living in New Orleans, and he's a really big name and chef down there, and he's well respected in the industry. That's pretty much all I have. Thank you.